everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Stephanie. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to hit subscribe to my channel and tap the little bell for notifications of future videos. I've been really busy and I have a lot of videos coming up, and I wanted to do a short video to show you something that I've been experimenting with that I'm really excited about, and that is dyeing with avocados. So you may be familiar with dyeing papers with teas and coffee to make them look old, and I was interested after reading an article in Somerset Studios magazine, my favorite magazine, where they used avocado pits to dye papers and fabrics and tags and things like that, and I thought that was so cool, and so I tried it, and it produced just these beautiful papers. I love the pink, and it's sort of like a muted, it's almost like a tea-stained pink kind of a color. And in addition to experimenting with avocado dyeing, I decided to try dyeing with blueberries. Yes, blueberries. In addition to dyeing the papers, I dyed some muslin also. I made these flower embellishments that I just love, and I use them in a lot of different projects, and this is a video I have coming up. You really fast what my process is for making these papers. There are a lot of videos and instructions from different people on how to do tea staining and coffee staining, and it's basically the same process. So what I did, here, let me show you. This is my leftover avocado dye water that I made. So my process starts with a Dutch oven or a really large pot, like if you were going to cook spaghetti, and I fill it with water, not all the way to the top, obviously leave a little room. And first I did the avocados, and I put in about 4 avocado pits, and I boiled it for a while, and then I let it simmer. And I let that simmer for about 20 minutes, and then I turned it off and I just let it steep for a while. So while the water was still hot, I took it off the stove, I pulled out the avocado pits, and I poured the water into, I had a big aluminum pan. I also use 9x13 baking dishes sometimes, lasagna pans, anything that's big enough. And I take about 10 papers at one time, and I submerge them one at a time, or sometimes I submerge them in you know, maybe I'll take 2 or 3 and submerge them, because I'm pretty sure these little white dots are from submerging them together and getting air bubbles trapped in between. So I soak the papers for about 10 minutes, then I take them and I flip them over in the pan and soak them for about another 5, and then I start taking them out, and I take out one at a time, and I let all the extra water drip off, and I use parchment paper. In fact, this is the parchment paper I used. You can see the avocado staining on here. And I put this on a cookie sheet, and as I take the papers out, I stack 2 or 3 on the parchment, and then I put another piece of parchment, and I get this parchment paper from the dollar store, and then I do it again, and I stack papers 2 or 3, it doesn't matter, and I just make layers, and then I start baking them. I take a separate cookie sheet, and I will use, I'll put it in like this. I would have a piece of parchment here so that it's all sandwiched in the parchment, and I would put it on a new cookie sheet, and I would bake it in the oven, probably around 250 degrees, and I set my timer for around 7 minutes, and I start checking on the paper, because a lot of times parts of it will dry faster than others. And so check on your papers frequently, and sometimes if the edges are drying faster and this is still wet in the middle, I take them and I turn them so that part dries, and then I take them out and I'll put in a new batch. So that's how I do it. And if it's summer, it's easy to leave these outside to dry, weight them down so they don't blow away in the wind. I've had that happen before. So for the blueberry papers, or for the blueberry dyeing, it was the exact same method. I used a bag of frozen wild blueberries from Trader Joe's. I put it in a large pot of water, and I brought it to a boil briefly, and then I turned it down to simmer. And I simmered it for about 15 minutes, completely turned it off at that point, and I let it steep for about another, oh goodness, I want to say about 15, 20 minutes. And while it was still hot, I used a strainer to dump out the blueberries and the water into my container that I was using to dye the papers. And then from that point forward, the blueberry dyed papers were, the process was the same as the avocado dyed papers. So there you have it. And for the muslin, you know what? I dipped the muslin in separate from the paper, but I only did a few strips of muslin just to see how it would turn out. I didn't do a huge amount of fabric, and I dried it with my heat gun. So, but it's basically the same process. I think I soaked this material for like 10 minutes. This might have been a little bit longer, but I love the way it comes out. It was really fun, and I love these embellishments. So this is my next video, how to do these embellishments and different ways to use them. So stay tuned for that. And there you go. That's the process. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up down below. And if you give this technique a try with the avocado or the blueberry or, something else, let me know. I would love to hear how it turned out for you. Give me a comment down below. And that's it for today, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.